One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now.
Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Dis. Yes. See, I've made more sense than 90% of WoW podcasts already, and I'm only 17 seconds in. The date today is the 24th of July, 2009. It is 8 p.m. British summertime. Yes, it is. It's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. In other times, it is other places. In other places, it is other times. And this is Blue Please on WoW Radio. What a show we have coming up for you today. Yes, we do. Coming up on the show today, the fragmented community and the folly of getting all your news from a single source. We'll be discussing the ignorance of the player base and how perhaps best to fix that a little bit later on in the show. Also, 2 races or 1 class. Which would you choose? And does anyone actually give a flying... can't say that on air, about Worgen and Goblins? We shall find out just a little bit later on the show. Also, questing WoW vs Dungeons & Dragons Online. With its impending relaunch, we take a look at Dungeons & Dragons Online and see where WoW could perhaps learn from it. We'll do a little bit of a comparative study a little bit later on in the show. And of course, your choice to contribute to the show, it is the one, the only, the illusion of choice. Email in themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. For your choice for the last topic of the show. It may get picked, it may not. That's why it's an illusion of choice. Yes, indeed. So, what have I been up to this week? Well, I've been off work because apparently I had swine flu. And I sort of still do. Or at least the back end of it. It's a mild dose of swine flu. It was unpleasant, but not exactly debilitating, I must say. So, I am feeling a bit tired today. So, if I do sort of fall over halfway through the show, then that's why. And I suppose you'll get a 3-hour show next week or whatever. But yeah, swine flu. Kind of lousy, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We will try and make an effort to finish the show before collapsing and dying on the floor. That would be nice. If I don't speak for like more than 5 minutes, call an ambulance or the fire department, or possibly both. Either works. It's all good. Or just get me a pizza. That'll probably get me back on my feet again. Always a good thing. Other than that, nothing all that exciting been going on, to be brutally honest. Looking forward to what's going to be happening at BlizzCon. And of course, WoW Radio will be there. If you haven't already guessed, we will be there streaming all the panels for you. Yes, that is more than DirecTV does. And you don't have to pay for ours. Oh yes. All the panels, exclusive interviews, plus a studio stream with a rotating cast of our very ever so popular and wonderful hosts. It's going to be awesome. Keep an eye on the website for more news over the next couple of weeks as to our BlizzCon coverage. It shall be the best, shall be the most complete, and there shall not be a shadow of a doubt about that. That is a promise from me. Now, if you are not already our IRC channel, if you happen to be listening live, you're going to head over to irc.mmo, irc.com, # WoW Radio. That is the place to be. Or you can click the chat button at the top of the screen on wcradio.com. Always a good idea. Well, ladies and gents, without further ado, it's time for this.
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, folks, it's mail time. That is the time where we read the mail. Should be rather self-explanatory for you, I would imagine. And if it's not, well, you're just not thinking outside the box, man. Not thinking outside the box. Oh, God. We'll do that again. I feel unclean. Right. First email is this. It comes from Martin Georgiev, or whatever the hell his name is. And it says, I'm in your troll being a mage. Okay. Hey, TB, love the show. I've recently took an interest in comparing vanilla WoW items to Wrath items. Vanilla items are in the 10th times lower stats, spell damage, etc. For example, Netherwind Crown has 32 spell damage, 26 intelligence, while the tier 8.5 hood has 113 spell damage and 87 intelligence. I'm pretty sure that's not 10 times lower, but whatever. Now, my elaborate point is that back in vanilla we were akin to kindergarten children waving around broken sticks, thinking it was epic to have 600 to 700 DPS. Poking at harmless kittens, unaware of a larger, more epic insert drop in here, please. Is that an instruction? Is that like a prompt? Epic! Well, there you go. World where hardcore shamans can pull out 6,600 DPS. Just wanted to present you with a weird deduction. I love the show very much. Shout out to my troll mage Kashika, with which I AoE Blizzard Ground to level 68 in 8 days total playtime. Wow, that sounds really freaking boring. I can't imagine what would happen if I just cast Blizzard for 8 days straight. Oh, God. Yes, indeed, that is exactly what has happened. And half of it is also due to the fact that the items back in the day were really badly itemized, whereas now we have items that are actually useful for our class. So, while it may be, say, only 4 times more powerful, it is infinitesimally more useful. I mean, if you look at the Netherwind Crown, if I remember correctly, the Netherwind Crown had something ridiculous like shadow resistance on it. Really helpful, Blizz! Let's think, where could that possibly be of any use? Not Molten Core, not Blackening Lair, not in AQ 40. Oh yes, that would be Nax. Wonderful. That's about it. And maybe in one fight, if that. Freaking terrible. And I remember being proud of getting my Netherwind Crown, but I must say that I wasn't so keen on the stats. Horrendous. As I recall, it didn't even have crit on it, or hit, or anything else for that matter. Absolutely appalling. Oh well, never mind. Next email comes in from Joachim Olsen, also known as Mojave, the level 54 troll warrior in the mountains. Okay. Hello there, TB, long-time listener, writing in for the first time here. Last night, when I was leveling my troll warrior, I have re-rolled as I noticed some of the fresher players in the guild commenting on emblem gear. One of them was commenting on how terrible the emblem gear looked. I later found out that he was using level 78 blues and one crafted epic. Oh, and a trinket from Zulamar. We had a long discussion about emblem gear and the upcoming Emblem of Conquest changes. He actually agreed with my opinion on how the emblem gear will allow people to get gear they don't deserve. He also shared my opinion on VOA. So TB, even when a newer player like this can understand how the upcoming emblem change is a bad thing, why can't Blizzard? Hopefully you'll read this if it gets in the air. Can you get a shout out to Fords on the Argent Dawn Realm and my guild Toxic Avengers on the Argent Dawn EU. Shout out so given. I'll tell you exactly why it is. It's because people are very much self-centered when it comes to this game. They don't see the wood for the trees. They can't see the wider implication of what's going on. As long as they get theirs, it doesn't really matter. So say, a player who wants tier 8.5 and yet, can't run the appropriate instance to get it, will see the emblem changes as a good thing, generally speaking, because, hey, look, it's great, it's free tier 8.5. It's the same people that like VOA. I mean, VOA is perhaps the worst thing that's ever happened to raiding. I'm not kidding, it really is. It's appalling. It completely throws... It's not just, actually, the worst thing that's happened to raiding. It's the worst thing that's happened to PvE and PvP. I mean, both sides should be up in arms over VOA. There should be way more chatter and angst on the forums about VOA than there actually is. I mean, providing a loot pinata like that is obscene. Giving all that gear away, especially on a random basis, I mean, the entire thing is bloody stupid. It encourages bad behaviour in pugs. Again, I bring up the example of the 800 DPS rogue who died halfway through the fight and yet got 2 pieces of tier 7.5. Did he deserve them? No. Did he get them? Yes. What does that tell him? All it tells him is all he needs to do is roll the dice. It doesn't matter how good he is at gambling, he just needs to keep rolling the dice and eventually he'll get his. Because of course there is absolutely no downside to being a bad player in a pug like that. Not at all. I mean, what's the requirement for entry? What are the barriers to entry to VOA? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So you reward players like that, and it's a mess. It really is. Badges are just as bad. I can't figure out why people would think it was a good thing unless all they wanted was free gear. And if all they want is free gear, then these are not the kind of people we should be catering to begin with. At all. Let's face it. Got another email here. Let's see what we have. We do have quite a few today. It's from Jordan Johnson, also known as Mr. NNJ, Essence of RP American correspondent. He says this: TB, I've noticed a disturbing trend in several guilds. The policy of the guild is not to help a lowbie guildmate run through a dungeon. I find that this just increases the gear disparity in players and prevents new players to the raiding scene from actually getting in and raiding. I joined back at the launch of Burning Crusade and have been an avid role player up until last month. While I was applying for a raiding/leveling guild, one of the things I was warned about during my interview process was that there was no running of lobbies through dungeons. First thing that came through my mind was, how in the nine hells am I supposed to get geared up properly to even contemplate raiding if I have no support from the guild I want to run with? I think that on an off day, if a seasoned player of the guild is up for it, the officers should support lobby running through dungeons. Not a level 80 one-shotting Rage Fire Chasm and a level 15 picking up the loot, but a level 80 coaching the level 15. Personally, I plan on asking a class officer for help when my raiding character goes for his first dungeon. This is a common problem. Honestly, it really is. This has been happening since the dawn of time. Yes, it has. The problem is, right, that the content is so damn repetitive that by the time players get to the level they are, say a raiding guild gets to whatever it is it's working on, they've done the other content so freaking much that they don't want to face it. And you can't really blame people, honestly, for not wanting to go back to Nax, say, for the 50 bazillionth time to help some lobby get some gear. Now, if the guild is running off nights, then fine. That's cool, because generally speaking, there'll be enough alts going through there. I mean, that's generally the best bet. You run with the alts. That's what I found in various different guilds. If you are under-geared, they generally have an alt night where they run the previous dungeons with a different class. Because, hey, it's a little bit more interesting to run it with a different class as opposed to your main, because, hey, you've done it 50,000 times with your main already. Whereas you might not have done it with your priest alt or your DK alt or whatever. So you run with the alts, and you get your gear that way. The only problem I have is when alts seem to get priority over lower players. That just seems ridiculous to me. I've seen it happen before. When alts, who are never going to set foot in the top tier instance that we're attempting at the moment, they're just, hey, muck about classes for some of our regulars. And it's like, oh, well, I get priority. But why? Why exactly are you getting priority on gear that this other guy can use? I mean, this is something I cannot figure out. If you really want people to go back and help people in dungeons, then you're going to have to give them some kind of incentive. And there is no incentive right now. There really isn't. And it sounds selfish. Don't get me wrong, it does sound selfish. But realize that these people, I'm one of them, have been in these instances so much that they are sick of the sight of them. They don't want to go back in a million years. I don't want to go back to Nax. You know? My plan, once the faction changes come along, is I am probably going to leave my current guild. I like it, don't get me wrong, it's just I'm sick of the current raiding scene, I'm sick of the progression path, and I want to start on the new progression path. And that's going to be in a 10-man guild. I'm going to create a 10-man guild with a couple of people that I know, and sorry, you know, fans of the show, not really making it open to WoW Radio guys. I'll be trying to pick selective people because I just want to chill out with my friends for once. I want to experience the more casual side of raiding, the more small form side of raiding these days, and see what the other side enjoys. You know, see what the other guys enjoys, the other camp. And you know what? Maybe I'll get into it. I'd like to play pretty hard on 10-mans, maybe just a couple of times a week, and just be good at the game. I mean, it seems to me that the new Colosseum is set up ideally for that. So if I'm able to, say, just raid a couple of nights a week, but raid hard, and raid the hard mode and do well with other people who are on my level or better, preferably better, then that's a good thing, yeah? I'll have some fun again, I'll enjoy it, but the 25-mans just seem like, oh god, I just don't want to see them again. And I've explained why in previous shows the progression path is utterly shot. But when it comes to lower instances, then I am not sure why exactly Blizzard expects people to just go and help these guys through for the umpteenth time without some kind of incentive. There are other games that have incentives like that. Yeah, they have a mentor system. They have the ability to level down to the other guy and gain some benefit that way. WoW does not have that, and that, if anything, is seriously hindering people being nice and being kind. You know, it just doesn't happen. Now, last but by no means least, this one is from John Bain, and he says this: TV, you must be aware of the stupid change to logging into WoW that Blizzard have made. Now, in order to log in, you must log in with an associated Battle.net account. This seems all well and good, but some people have managed to use the merge other people's WoW accounts function with their Battle.net accounts. After researching this on the forums, I've noticed that this has happened to several people since the change has been implemented. I tried to contact Blizzard through the account billing hotline, but I never seem to get answered. So now after this change, I'm stuck not knowing what to do because I do not know which person has got my account. I would like to discuss this on the next show that you're doing. Well, there's not a lot of discussion there other than to say that what the hell is with the Battle.net account thing? I don't see the point. Why associate your WoW account with that? I mean, The security on my Wire account, for instance, is absolutely fine. I mean, I've got my authenticator right here. It's all I need. I've never been hacked. Probably never will be, thanks to the authenticator. So, I must say I'm a tad concerned if people are managing to steal other people's WoW accounts and merging them to their Battle.net accounts. That's bizarre. I don't know the details of that, but if anyone does happen to have any information, email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com, and I will happily give out a wonderful, and I do mean wonderful, public service announcement. My name is Total Biscuit. Slightly ill, but soldiering on nonetheless. This is Blue Please on WoW Radio. And I've got some Illuvitate here for you. It's the Somber Lay. I'll be right back after this to tell you about the fragmented community and getting your news from more than one source. Enjoy.